Hey there, all you movie musical maniacs. Welcome to Broadway by Ghostlight. I'm Mark Bonanni, and if you're new to the channel, welcome!
I'm so glad you're here!
We usually break down different theater lore, musical theater history facts, and explore some shows you've probably never heard of. But today is not one of those videos. We are talking today about the film version of In the Heights, one of the best modern movie musicals of all time, in my humble opinion.
No me diga.
I saw In the Heights opening day with my wife in an actual movie theater, which was a delight. And from what I could see of the film through the barrage of tears in my eyes was nothing short of stunning. I enjoyed just about every single second of it, and I wanted to take the time today to break down all the really fun Easter eggs, the blink and you'll miss it cameos, and a lot of the differences between the stage show and the film.
So many things are the same, and yet things are so different.
Major spoiler warnings if you haven't seen the film yet. You have been warned.
Spoiler alert.
But without much further ado, let's get into this movie. Ghost lights up on Washington Heights.
He did not just... Did you just say that?
In the Heights, of course, is a musical with music and lyrics by Lin-Manuel Miranda and a libretto by Chiara Alegria Hudes. Miranda had written a rough draft of the show as early as 1999 when he was still a sophomore in college at Wesleyan University. He continued to work on the script, eventually teaming up with future frequent collaborator, director Thomas Kail. By 2002, they had gone through several drafts of the show, and in 2004, writer Chiara Alegria Hudes was brought in to help with the book. The show premiered in 2005 at the National Music Theater Conference at the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center in Waterford, Connecticut. In 2007, the musical opened off-Broadway at the 37 Arts Theater, and the following year transferred to Broadway's Richard Rodgers Theater, where Hamilton currently is, opening on March 9, 2008, where it ran for 1,184 performances before closing on January 9, 2011.
Wow, that's a good run.
The film opens with a new framing device that was not present in the stage show.
Where's it at?
The beach, the beach.
This island setting with the small children gives the character Usnavi a device to be a narrator without necessarily having to break the fourth wall, which I think works better live on stage than on film. And we meet our leading man, Usnavi, played by Anthony Ramos, who originated the roles of John Lawrence and Philip Hamilton in Hamilton the Musical. When the show premiered on Broadway, Lin-Manuel Miranda, the show's author, originated the role of Usnavi.
I am Miranda, and you better memorize my name. My reason for fame is greatly exaggerated, exacerbated by the fact I cannot act. When things get complicated, I incorporated too much exposition.
Lin was sort of a fresh-faced newbie when the show first arrived on the Great Bright Way. Now, of course, a megastar, he did reportedly consider reprising the role for the film, but ultimately felt he was too old.
I'm too old for this sort of thing.
After seeing Hamilton co-star Anthony Ramos step last minute into the lead role of Usnavi after the previously announced lead injured his foot in a production at Washington, D.C.'s Kennedy Center of In the Heights, Miranda knew he had found his Usnavi for the film. Though, I don't think anyone really expected Lin to be completely absent from the film altogether. He, of course, appears as the Piragua Guy, originally played by Eliseo Roman. We then briefly meet another character, Abuela Claudia, played by Olga Merediz. She's the only actor to play the role in the film that they originated on Broadway. A brilliant performance then and now. I'm so glad that it's captured on film. Also, while we're talking about Olga Merediz in the Broadway show, there is this really random, really funny music video In the Heights did when they were first coming to Broadway to promote the show.
When the sun shines, we'll shine together. Told you musicals take forever. Now we're opening on Broadway. It's like I always say, paciente. Even if the show don't run forever, know that we'll still have each other. You can come home to your abuela. You can come home to your abuela.
I'll put a link in the description for the whole video if you want to check it out. It's very funny. In the film version, it appears Usnavi lives with Claudia, which is not the case in the stage show.
Hey, Rumi!
During the opening number, the title song, In the Heights, we're introduced to most of our characters, a very traditional opening number, really. One moment I want to point out that I really love is this moment with the manhole cover. It's so great because it instantly sets the rules, or lack thereof, I guess, for this universe. We now understand that this is a magical place. Anything can happen, including people bursting into song and dance.
It's a musical.
Simple, yet effective. I love it. Moving on. We meet Graffiti Pete, played to great effect in the movie, in my opinion, by Noah Catala.
That how you pronounce it?
On Broadway, the role was originated by Seth Stewart. If you have yet to see the documentary about the Broadway in the Heights called Chasing Broadway Dreams, I highly recommend it. But they follow Seth Stewart, and there's this amazing scene where he sees his image for the first time on a giant billboard in Times Square, and it's so moving, so cool to see. Seth Stewart does make a cameo in the film. He plays a bartender in the club before the blackout.
This is good, keep going.
When Usnavi is on the couple's iPad, you can see Hamilton Heights on the map. Not really an Easter egg because it's a real place on the map, but it's still a cool connection to Hamilton, and there is a much bigger Hamilton Easter egg I'm sure you all caught coming up.
Oh, you noticed it?
Yeah, I noticed it. Everyone's noticed it.
We meet Kevin Rosario, played by Jimmy Smits in the film. The role was originated on Broadway by Carlos Gomez. Then we meet Daniela and Carla, the salon women who were originally played by Andrea Burns and Janet DeCall respectively. In the stage show, they were simply co-workers and friends. In the film, however, they are a couple. A wonderful little change there. For the film, the legendary Daphne Rubin Vega, the original Mimi Marquez in Rent, plays Daniela, and Stephanie Beatriz plays Carla, a very different character from the one she's best known for playing on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I'm gonna punch him so hard in the mouth he bites his own heart.
The third member of the Salon Bunch, Kuka, played by the wonderful Dasha Polanco, is a new character added for the film version. Sonny on Broadway was played by Robin De Jesus, who just reprised the role of Emery in the film version of the Broadway revival of The Boys in the Band. In the film, 16-year-old Gregory Diaz IV plays Sonny, and though only 16, he too has appeared on Broadway in the ensemble of Matilda.
You know you love me?
In comes Benny, Usnavi's best friend. Benny was originally played by Lin-Manuel Miranda's best friend, Christopher Jackson. Chris Jackson, of course, originated the role of George Washington in Hamilton, which is just one of his many Broadway credits. A tremendous performer who is also featured in the film as Lin's Piragua Guy's arch nemesis, the Mr. Softy Guy.
Great scene. Great scene.
In the film, Benny was played by Corey Hawkins. Hawkins is probably best known for his film and television work, including Walking Dead and Straight Outta Compton. But Hawkins has appeared on Broadway in two different plays, Romeo and Juliet and 6 Degrees of Separation. Here's hoping he'll come back to Broadway in a musical next. Vanessa, whom Lin-Manuel Miranda named after his beautiful wife, was originally played by current Tony nominee and badass person Karen Olivo. In the film, Vanessa is played by Melissa Barrera. A young budding musical theater actress, she found stardom in Mexico, where she was born, in the telenovelas as well as live theater there. I love this moment where Benny takes one of those little fake roses in the plastic wrap and Sonny tries to have Usnavi give it to Vanessa. Though I usually think of those roses more as a gas station thing and not a bodega thing, but that's really super nitpicky. That being said, if you guys aren't familiar with New York bodegas, this is spot on.
It's uncanny.
From the colors to the brands they sell, the production team did a wonderful job recreating a bodega. It just needs a cat, honestly.
I'm between the breads.
This shot. Here is where I gasped for the first time while watching this movie. Look at this shot. It's incredible.
It's beautiful.
Now is a great time to talk about the director, John M. Chu. One of the hottest directors in the business at the moment.
So hot right now.
Chu shot to stardom for directing the hit rom-com Crazy Rich Asians in 2018. Previously, he had directed a couple of the movies in the Step Up franchise, as well as G.I. Joe Retaliation, and Now You Can See Me Too. Chu is not getting out of the movie musical business anytime soon, however, and is slated to direct the long gestating film version of Wicked. There were 75 dancers in this opening number. Notice when we go from shot to shot of all the people going about their business, they all have flags or other signs from where they're from, though some of them are kind of hidden. Can we also talk for a second about Anthony Ramos killing the choreo here? Damn.
He's quite a little dancer.
Another new framing device. 3 days till blackout. Very cool, I think. Builds to something. We meet Alejandro, the lawyer friend of Usnavi's that helps with securing his father's place in the Dominican Republic, and then helps Sonny with his immigration process, played by Mateo Gomez. This role is not in the stage version and is new to the film. Notice the music playing when Usnavi looks at the pictures here.
The electricity shot. Half the roof got taken in the hurricane. Thus the low asking price, the quick.
That is one of my favorite songs from the show Sunrise that was sadly cut from the film.
That's a shame.
But at least we get a little taste of it in the underscoring here. Another change from the stage version is that in the film, Usnavi remembers the DR because he left when he was 8.
Yo, I remember, man, when I used to be working in the back on the soda gun.
In the original version, he came over as a baby. And I think this gives Usnavi even more drive. He wants to get someplace special, a place he several times calls the best days of his life. And he doesn't want to just get out in general. Take note of this green crab, it will be important later on. Last but certainly not least, we meet Nina. Nina in the film is played by Leslie Grace, a young singer who's had great success on the Latin and tropical music charts. The role of Nina was originally played by Mandy Gonzalez, a wonderful Broadway actress. She does have a vocal cameo in the film version. In the scene in the dry cleaners, the music in the background is sung by Mandy Gonzalez with special backup vocals by Lin-Manuel Miranda and executive music producers Bill Sherman and Alex Lacamoire. A small lyric update here with Big Papi stepping in for Manny Ramirez in the Broadway version.
Yo, Big Papi is in town this weekend. Manny Ramirez is in town this weekend.
Later, we get a couple of great cameos in Nina's song Breathe, one of my favorite songs in the show and film. This couple seen getting out of the car here, that is Luis Miranda and Dr. Luz Towns Miranda, Lynn's parents. And this is their screen debut. The soloist there is the wonderful Doreen Montalvo. Doreen was the first person to ever audition for the show in the very early days, playing Abuela Claudia in the first Connecticut production and staying with the show through Broadway. Sadly, she passed away in October of 2020, months after filming had ended. The film is dedicated to her memory. The last little cameo in the number is a great one. A major difference between the stage show and the film is that on Broadway, Nina's mother, Camilla, is very much alive.
She's alive! Alive!
However, the part was written out for the film. You can see a picture of Nina's deceased mother briefly towards the end of Breathe, and it's a photo of none other than Priscilla Lopez, the Tony Award-winning actress who created the role of Camilla on Broadway. Later in the movie, Kevin is calling the loan office of Nina's school, and the hold music is, of course, You'll Be Back from Hamilton. I'm sure y'all caught that one. I know when I saw it in the theater, it got a big reaction. Another great cameo comes in the salon scene. The incredible drag artist Valentina plays herself. If you are not a Drag Race fan, what is wrong with you?
You crazy bitch.
Valentina is amazing and had one of the most shocking eliminations of any reality TV show ever.
Take that thing off of your mouth.
I'd like to keep it on, please.
She also, of course, played Angel in Rent Live. Here's another fun cameo. The wigs from the last Hedwig revival make an appearance during No Me Diga. Okay, not really, but those wigs had me cackling. These shots too feel very Fosse to me.
I took Intro to Bob Fosse as an elective sophomore year.
Vanessa's character got deepened for the film. She now wants to be a fashion designer. I want to point out the shot here as one of my favorite pieces of realness in the movie. Look at the blisters on the back of her heel here. Now, that may have been a character choice. That may have just been the actual actress dancing up a storm and having blisters on her heels. I just love that little detail. But at the same token, where's your curtains, girl? You got everyone in the train just staring in your window.
He's not wrong.
Then we get a great little Latin women history lesson. For all my fellow gringos out there, let's quickly go through this list of these incredible women. The first one, my girl, Chita Rivera. I hope you all know that one. Then, Rita Moreno.
Rita is Rita, but not Cheetah.
Rita Moreno, if you don't know, is an iconic film actress. Frida Kahlo, of course, is a well-known Mexican painter. Celia Cruz, a highly popular Cuban singer. Dolores Huerta is an activist and civil rights leader. Isabel Allende is a Chilean-American author. Sandra Cisneros, a poet and writer. Julia Alvarez, a Dominican-American poet, novelist, and essayist. Rigoberta Menchú is a human rights activist and Nobel Peace Prize laureate. The Mirabal sisters were political activists who were assassinated by the government. And of course, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
All those women are so impressive.
During the next song, 96,000, there are a couple of wonderful lyric changes. Tiger Woods now gets name-checked instead of a certain orange person whose name I won't mention here. And this new lyric here is much better than the original, more offensive lyrics, in my opinion.
I got more flows than Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Plus, it's fitting to reference Obi-Wan Kenobi as Lin is technically part of the Star Wars universe.
What?
He wrote some music for The Force Awakens and got to appear as a Resistance pilot at the end of the film. The number at the pool is amazing, but it wasn't amazing for the cast. A storm was brewing as they were filming and temperatures dropped, all while 90 dancers, 500 extras, and the principal cast were freezing in the water all day.
That's unfortunate.
Somebody vital to this movie we haven't discussed yet is the choreographer. The choreography for this film is by Christopher Scott. Scott is a frequent collaborator with director John Chu. He's also choreographed for the TV show So You Think You Can Dance and America's Best Dance Crew. I also have to mention that he choreographed the Disney Channel movie Zombies, which, thanks to my daughter Lily, I have seen many, many times. The winning lotto numbers are 5, 7, 16, 26, and 33, and director John Chu picked each one specifically. 5 because his wife was born in May, 7 and 16 because his daughter was born July 16th, and then he and his wife's anniversary is July 26th. The 26th also was supposed to be the day his unborn son was due. 33 is Chu's favorite number. Funny story though, afterwards, Chu found out that he got the date wrong. His anniversary and his son's due date were the 27th, not the 26th. But Chu's son had his back and he came into the world a day early, making the 26th a very special number indeed.
Now that's a good son. Good and kind and thoughtful.
And his new son's name? Jonathan Heights Chu.
Oh, I love that name.
Next, Lin gets to perform the very catchy Piragua song. For those who might bemoan Lin starring in his own properties,
I run this town.
Apparently the Piragua song was going to be cut due to budgetary reasons in pre-production until Lin agreed to play the role and save the song, the first one he wrote for the show in the late 90s. A note on Lin's look here. We see Lin's Piragua Guy reading a book by Marcial Lafuente Estefania, a prolific Hispanic writer of Western novels. Socks as high up as they'll go, special reading glasses. If you think he looks like an old man here, or maybe auditioning for Tevye, I mean, come on. There is an explanation. Lin modeled this character's look on his grandfather, saying he was basically cosplaying his abuelo. We are gifted this hilarious bit with Mr. Softy Guy, played by Chris Jackson, as I mentioned. The whole interaction is great, but my favorite part is when he ruins the kids' ice creams. That is just so damn funny to me.
They deserved it.
Another new character created for the film, Pike Phillips, the face of gentrification, who owns and is expanding his dry cleaning business, is played by everyone's favorite Broadway villain, Patrick Page. The always wonderful Patrick Page has played the Grinch, the Green Goblin, and is soon to return to his role as Hades in Hadestown.
How does the wall keep us free? My children, how does the wall keep us free?
Later in the scene with Benny and Nina, we get a little change from the show. Originally, the pair's romance was new and only occurred during the show, but now in the film they have a romantic past, which I think lends itself well to the fast pace of the story. Lets them falling in love quickly seem a tad more realistic, I suppose. Later, we meet yet another character created just for the film. With Sonny's expanded backstory, we meet his father. And yes, that is singer Mark Anthony. And though he's only in this short scene, I found it quite impactful and was incredibly impressed with Mr. Anthony. We do get to hear him sing, though, during the end credits. He can be heard singing the new song, Home All Summer. At the end of the scene, we find out that Sonny is undocumented an added plot point certainly powerful in today's world. Lin based the character of Abuela Claudia on his own sort of adopted grandmother. If you zoom in on the record of Claudia's favorite song, Siempre, with the skip in it, you'll see that it says it's by Luisa Mundi. She was Lin's nanny and his father's nanny before him. Lin has stated that she basically raised him.
That was Abuela. She's not really my Abuela, but she practically raised me.
Nina's reasoning for dropping out of Stanford have changed for the film. In the original version, she is failing her classes because of working 2 jobs to help pay for tuition and loses her scholarship. In the film, she's worried about her father's financial situation, she is unfairly searched in a racist incident, and I think she also just feels wrong being away from her block. That's why later when she decides to go through with college, she says she now sees it not as a way out, but maybe a more powerful way back.
I love that.
Where everyone goes after the blackout is different than in the stage version. This blackout in the musical had a lot more danger and threats of looting, which honestly I'm glad are gone.
Me too.
Instead of Usnavi and Abuela Claudia alone together, the whole group of friends and family congregate at Abuela and Usnavi's and they play bingo. And then we come to the sad death of Abuela Claudia. I remember being absolutely inconsolable the first time I saw it on Broadway when she died. Anyways, a great detail here, notice it's not until everyone arrives, including Sunny, that Claudia can move on. She even alludes to it earlier in the film.
Hey, Sonny, is he on board?
He's my next ass.
I'm not going without him.
I got Sonny.
I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but I still think it's a nice little callback. Paciencia y Fe. My God, this number is extraordinary.
Tell me something I don't know.
The opening is a little different if you aren't familiar with the original Broadway cast recording. Instead of it opening soft like this, it starts like this. I kind of miss the belting, to be honest, but it's still gorgeous. Gorgeous! Now I suppose is a good time to talk about the order of the songs.
It's jumbled up.
Things have definitely been shuffled around a bit. We start with the opening number, can't really change that. Then Breathe and Benny's Dispatch are swapped, as are No Me Diga and It Won't Be Long Now. A song for Kevin, Nina's dad, was cut from the film. 96,000 remains in its slot. Then in the show, Paciencia y Fe is next. In the film, that is towards the end. Piragua and When You're Home have swapped places. The Club and Blackout come next, finishing Act 1 in the show at least. The first 3 songs in Act 2 of the musical all get the chop. Sunrise for Benny and Nina, Hundreds of Stories for Abuela Claudia and Usnavi, and Enough for Nina's mother Camilla, who again was cut from the film. The next 2 numbers swap places, Alabanza and Carnaval de Barrio, and Atención for Kevin is cut. One final cut, Nina's solo, Everything I Know. The Piragua reprise has been moved to the final slot, a fun epilogue, and one final switcheroo, When the Sun Goes Down and Champagne switch places before the finale.
I hope you're writing this down. I'm gonna test you later.
This activist is played by Maria Hinojosa, who is the host of NPR's Latino USA and has been for the last 25 years.
No me diga.
Here on Vanessa's application, you can see the rental management company is Willow Amelia and Company. Willow Amelia is the name of director John Chu's daughter. The power comes back on after Carnaval de Barrio. In the stage show, the power remains off for the duration of the story. 30 days later. The original stage show's plot lasted only a few days. The plot is expanded for the film, 3 days before the blackout, 3 days after, then 30 days after. And then one final unspecified time jump into the future. But it's clearly been at least 5 or 6 years. I love though that we get to see more of Usnavi's life after the show. With Sunrise cut, When the Sun Goes Down is really Benny and Nina's big romantic song. And it is so freaking cool and beautiful. It certainly evokes Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers films here. There are actually a lot of homages to classic movie musicals. 96,000 in the Pool is of course very Busby Berkeley. If you look quickly, you can spot young Nina off to see her older self off. And here is the big reveal that it was Abuela Claudia who won the coveted 96,000.
No, you didn't!
No, you did not!
In the stage version, she reveals that she won at the end of Paciencia y Fe, and informs Usnavi that she won during the blackout. Obviously greatly changed for the film.
Obviously.
This beautiful mural that Graffiti Pete's paint that inspires Usnavi to stay, here is his father's beach.
The beach!
But in the stage show, it was a mural honoring Abuela Claudia that inspires Usnavi to stay.
I did the crab in the corner.
The green crab! Remember that green crab earlier in the film? Here is the reason for that. In the finale, we get some more Blink and You'll Miss It cameos.
Don't blink.
There's the show and film's author, Chiara, and her family. Next to them is Javier Munoz. Theater geeks might know Javi, as he's often called, from being Lin's alternate Usnavi and Alexander Hamilton. Since Lin wrote and starred in these shows, he would often take time off to observe the show and make changes. On those performances, Javi would fill in.
Makes sense.
Ricky Tripp, an original cast member, is there too, right above Javi's shoulder. There is a bunch of Broadway talent in both the dancing and vocal ensembles used in the film. Among the dancers, I spotted Melanie Moore, Karine Planedit, Ricky Ubeda, Jennifer Sanchez, and Nina Lafarga, who was in the original Broadway cast. The vocal ensemble features a slew of original Broadway cast members. It was so nice seeing all these names up there. End credit scene! Did any of you leave before this was over? I certainly didn't. My Marvel movies have trained me to never leave during the credits.
That's very wise.
But I heard a lot of people did not think that there was going to be an end credit scene and completely missed it.
Whoops.
This image here in the close-up of the Piragua cart is very cool. When Lin first thought of the concept for In the Heights, he drew a picture of the subway and wrote above it, "In the Heights" by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and as they say, the rest is history. Well, that image Lin drew is carved into the cart here.
That is so cool.
And that is all the Easter eggs and cameos I found. Which one was your favorite?
All of them.
If you spotted any that I missed, please let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear more. I'm sure there's more that I just couldn't find. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, it would help me out so much if you'd give this video a like and go ahead and share it with that aunt of yours who just saw the movie and wants to talk to you about it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Mark Bonanni. This is Broadway by Ghostlight. I'll see y'all next time.